Good evening. Hello, Thalia in the chat. For a change, I think I'm all set up before we reach like the 10-minute mark in the live running portion of the stream, which is good. I don't have to stall for time. We should be able to get started right away. Let's see. Yeah, there I am. Hope you're having a good late afternoon, early evening if you're on the East Coast like myself, or hope you're having a good mid-afternoon if you're anywhere west of here. I think I've got everything I need to get started. I should probably have refilled this water. Today. And today we're gonna do a little bit more of the comic page that we worked on last week. We'll try to get most of the rest of it done. And try to have a relatively chill stream where there's not a whole tremendous amount of expectation. Hello, lady Hungamanga. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Moisturized. It's time to get going. This is probably the earliest I've started drawing on a stream in a while. This is the lower part of, let's see if I can do this without screwing the whole camera up. This is the lower part of the page that we worked on last week. Lower. So not the way I had it. That's gonna bug the hell out of my obsessive compulsion. Stay. Don't move. Stay. Camera's right up here. Right up. Yeah, see? Right up there. Okay. What do we have today? A little more watercoloring, a little bit more gouaching. I don't know if gouache has a verb form, has a verb tense. If it doesn't, I'm inventing it. Tea or coffee. So today's coffee. Going with coffee today, and because I kind of forced myself to get up earlier than usual, certainly earlier than would be normal for a day when I'm not working. and I've resisted taking any kind of midday naps today. I find myself drinking some pretty strong coffee today, actually, by now, because I'm trying not to fall asleep, too early. I'm planning another trip into the city tomorrow, so I want to be able to get a decent night's sleep before I do that. I've been on vacation all this week, and I've actually been kind of on a mission to start getting back into some reasonable shape. So I just got a new exercise bike that I've been hitting pretty hard the past couple of days, and tomorrow I'll be taking out the bike. Let me see if I can get away with. First of all, let me get this in here. See if I can get away with reddening this ever so slightly. Yeah, that'll work. I don't want it to be too monochromatic. This adds a nice mid-tone of pinkish, reddish pinkish here. So that it actually looks like something approximating skin tone. I consider myself relatively good at mixing colors, or at least mixing the colors that I want. But skin tone is tricky at best. Stake this out, because that I will say this about these new headphones, by the way. I find them a lot easier to regulate the volume that I'm hearing. I'm kind of trusting that the volume settings the way that I've always had them are good enough for you guys. Not too loud, not too quiet. You can hear the background music and you can hear me at the same time. If that is not the case, please let me know. But it seems to have been working pretty well up to this point. gonna resist the urge to ink this page. I kind of like it the way it is. What I'm gonna do is one thing. And that is take my, I got brown here that's extremely dark brown, and I got extremely dark blue, and something I haven't done in a while, which is substitute black. Karma, welcome. Thanks for dropping by. I appreciate it. I'm starting to think Wednesday at about this time is actually a pretty nice time to stream because all of my friends are showing up to say hi. That's cool. That's the stuff. Wednesdays and Thursdays in the afternoon seem to be good traffic days for some reason. I'm gonna have to keep that in mind. I'm going to have to keep that in mind. Typically, I wouldn't. I resisted streaming on Wednesdays. Because I was either working or I didn't want it to eat into my wrestling watching time, or both. But if I can do these quickie Wednesday early evening streams, and be done by about 8 o'clock, 7:45, 7:50, then it's all good. All right. What else did I need to do here? I needed to change this music. That's what I needed to do. Okay. Anyway. Let's let that dry. Let's move on to what do we got over here? Well, it's important here to know where the light's coming from on this next panel, right around here. And the light is coming, it's casting shadow down slightly this way, which means shadow's gonna be here. I don't know how many of you actually. I don't know how many of you remember your high school graduations. I know probably every last one of you in the chat right now is younger than me, so your high school graduations were probably considerably a considerably shorter time ago than mine. Let's add some gray to this. Right now, I'm trying very hard to remember some of the details of my high school graduation to inform what I'm working on right now. Because I didn't graduate. Okay. Yeah, that's another thing. I was gonna say that, you know. Didn't want to assume anybody's situation there. Almost forgot to sign the national anthem. I saw the graduation. Probably remember. Well, that's pretty cool. Like, that's. I gotta remember to be very specific. I gotta remember to be very specific in the chat when Karma's here. Like, because when I get up, you know, if I take a break, I usually tell anybody in the chat to just kind of chat amongst yourselves while I'm gone. And I might say, you know, for you to, you know, mingle and ASL each other. And by ASL, I mean, early 2000s AOL speak for age, sex, language. But Karma actually is proficient in actual ASL, in actual American Sign Language, so that could create a little bit of confusion. Did I say? I think I said age, sex, language. I actually meant age, sex, location. I'm sure in some places it may also include language. But in my experience, that actually meant location. I don't know if anybody's ever even had that experience, but, you know. I was in early 2000s, AOL chat room frequenter, so there was a lot of that going around. as punishment for touching this paintbrush and not actually picking it up to use it. It rolled off the table on me. My art supplies will not be ignored. Okay, this is what I want to do next. Okay. Just trying to be a good force in the universe. Aren't we all? Aren't we all? Be the change that you want to see in the world. And here's the thing, like the way I have this scene set up, it's meant to be very storytelling intensive. It's meant to, this is going to be a very short intro for the comic that I'm making. A very short prologue, I guess you'd call it. Which means I have to do a tremendous amount of world building in kind of a short period of time. And keep it relatively entertaining. And hold the reading audience's attention. And make some attempt at accuracy. Which means getting a lot of little things right. Because even if you're not familiar firsthand with how a high school graduation goes, kindness and defense of those that can't defend themselves. Our kiddo has adopted my worldview too. I don't know if that is always a good thing. That is always a good thing, Lady Hungamunga. I will... I will die on the hill of that is always a good thing. It's something I wish I myself had done a lot more of when I was your kiddo's age. So if they're taking that sort of thing to heart and putting it into practice, then I think that's a very good thing. There's not nearly enough people willing to kind of stand up for the little guy anymore. Whatever form that may take. So people like that being in short supply. Become that much more important. And I will, I'll turn the volume down in my ear for this. This is something that I always knew I would get into at some point or another. But for those of you who have sat with me through an entire stream, or at least stuck around till the end of my stream, and this is also relevant because it was actually my good friend Sean, aka Comer Codex, who suggested that it's a good thing to have kind of a tagline, or to have a sign off if you're a streamer of some kind, something to end on. And I took his advice, and I decided to use something that I'd been using in my bike riding videos in the middle of last year during the quarantine. And the thing I say at the end of all of my streams now is laugh hard, ride fast, be kind. Anybody know where that comes from? You win absolutely nothing for guessing, but I will be sufficiently impressed. Nope. It's a Doctor Who quote. It is a paraphrasing of Peter Capaldi's final words as the Doctor. I forget what this sucks. I forget what the name of the episode is. If anybody has enough time on their hands to Google Peter Capaldi's final episode of Doctor Who, you can let me know. And while you're at it, watch the clip of that that last scene. But that's an abbreviated version of it. I changed a couple of things because he said the actual verbatim quote is laugh hard, run fast, be kind. Mine is I added stay safe to it because we were in lockdown times and that was an important thing to say. And I added ride fast because that's a bike, as a bicycle rider, that's kind of my thing. But the full verbatim quote for that is, and I'm gonna punch it up now so I don't forget it, so I don't misquote it. I'll give you the bullet points because finding the entire quote is probably gonna grind this stream to a screeching halt. But what precedes those last couple of lines is, and this is minutes before the Doctor's regeneration, and he's basically telling his future self to remember some of the most important things that should be remembered. Never be cruel, never be cowardly. And he also says never ever eat pears, which I disagree with, but let's not get into that. It says, remember, hate is always foolish, and love is always wise. He says, always try to be nice, but never fail to be kind. And it's worth, watching. Is that what it's called? Twice Upon a Time? Okay. No wonder I didn't remember. I thought it was something way different. I was way off. Okay. Thank you. Yes. BBC version of series. I gotta watch that BBC Sherlock series. It's a Stephen Moffat show who Stephen Moffat was actually ran Doctor Who right up till that scene, till that episode, episode Twice Upon a Time that Peter Capaldi passed the torch to current Doctor Jodie Whittaker, who has received nothing but a shitstorm of undeserved dude bro hate since, and I'm really not too happy about that. Anyway. Classic Who fan start watching at Sonic Sunglasses. There are good episodes after that. Not the biggest fan in the world of the Sonic glasses either, but I feel like that's a minor thing to the overall, to how good that overall run was. But maybe it's not for everybody. And I started getting into Classic Who as well. I got there's some Classic Who episodes that I started watching, that some Classic Who series that I thought were fantastic. I love them very much. I actually found myself to actually be a really big Third Doctor fan. Be a really big John Pertwee fan. His Doctor's awesome. We're tightening some of this stuff that I put down here. I wasn't expecting to use the marker quite so soon, but it seems like the quickest way to get the effect I want here. Actually, I think the shadow would look a little bit more like this, wouldn't it? I will say, I don't often, in the context that it's used for today, I don't typically use the term stan. Just because I think it's overused. Not that I don't think that when it's used properly, it's actually accurate. But if there's one thing I'm going to stand for, beyond the point where you stop watching Capaldi's run on Doctor Who, there's a two-part. There's a two-parter. The first part is called the Zygon Invasion. The second part is called the Zygon Inversion. I cannot recommend that story to you enough. If you decide to watch even one other couple of episodes from that run, please watch that one, because it ends with, bar none, Capaldi's finest moment as the Doctor. He gives a speech about basically about war and about sort of casualties of war that I still have trouble getting completely through to this day. It hit me at a very particular time in my life, and it resonated a lot with me. And even if you don't share the same type of worries about that sort of thing that I do, I think the performance alone is really something else. It's really even hard for me to describe it. There are a lot of things about Classic Who that don't make a hell of a lot of sense. I will get back to it eventually. Some of those things that don't make sense about Classic Who don't make sense by design, or don't make sense by, because out of necessity, or because they were brought to as close to making sense as the constraints of the show at the time could bring it. Some of that stuff is intentionally tongue-in-cheek. Some of it is unintentionally tongue-in-cheek. gotta remember too that, like, I'm gonna do this now before I forget, because something has to go under these. See, if you know that, like, I can't zoom in any closer. I'm gonna slide this up because I haven't realized you can't see some of the stuff that I'm doing up here. Put some more, a little bit more light on here. There we go. Yeah, there has to be something shown sitting in these chairs, like right here. That all has to be colored in. Otherwise, it's just going to look like people hovering above the chairs. See? Little things like that. And nobody was sitting in that chair, so I didn't need to color that one in. Great. That's what happens when you get carried away. From back here, I don't have to be as exact with the shadows that I'm making. Lurking, gotta get ready to go to wall. Yeah, well, good luck. Although I am slightly curious, there's a... I wonder if it's made it as far as Walmart in you guys' area. I'm guessing no, but if you see a beer called Medalla, Medalla, let me know. I'm just kind of curious. I don't expect that it's there, but it'd be really funny if it is. Nice little magical day after a while. Let's see. So weird. Is this all alphabet? Oh, okay, that's why it's all in alphabetical order. Okay. Anyway. What else we got? Alright. I have green microns. Do I have green brush tip microns? These are things I have to ask myself because it's been so long since I bought some of this stuff that I don't remember. I don't always remember what I bought. I don't have green brush tip microns. That's okay. It's fine. 05, 02. Okay. Well, at least now I know what I have. Still never use them. I always hear great things. I couldn't function artistically without him, personally. And I go through them pretty fast. I try to stretch them out as much as I can, and I still go through them pretty fast. That's why I get, you know, and I even, for the painting stuff, I get the colored ones. So I got red, blue, and green microns as well for this sort of thing that I'm doing. But anything requiring like precise straight lines, anything requiring like consistently thin lines, this is my favorite. And it's the favorite of lots of people that I've talked to over the years. Oh, yeah, and I also have brown microns. You can't see that, but these are brown. Microns come in different sizes, or zebra pens too. Yep, microns come in different sizes. Let me see. I'm pretty sure I've got all of them. 05, 08, 01. Double 05. So let's put them up here. Let's go right down here and let's put them up. Let's see. 005 is the absolute thinnest one. It's also the one that's easiest to mangle. That is 0.20 millimeters. The 01 is 0.25 millimeter. Let's see. 2. I know I had a 2 in here. We'll use this one. 2 is 0.3 millimeters. I know there's an 03. I don't remember if I have one anywhere nearby. Yep, here it is. 03 is 0.35 millimeters. Let's line these up. 3. And yes, there's not this one. 05, which I'm having trouble finding, which I thought I just had in my hand. Yep, still have it in my hand. 05, which is 0.45 millimeters, and 08, which is 0.5, half a millimeter. If you get a pack of these, they will usually come with these specific sizes. They may not have the 03. Sometimes it'll be a pack of 5 without the 03. If you get a pack of 6, it'll usually have that 03 in there. Can't recommend them enough. One other thing that they don't tell you is that these O2s, let's bring this back up here. These O2 pens have a slight, let's see, these O2 pens have a slight chisel tip. For some reason, they're the only ones that do. It comes to a slight point at the top. So they're actually, and this is true of just about any color in my experience of these, so it's even better at doing sort of details that taper up, where you have stuff like this where I'm doing like little grass details that are wider at the bottom. The stroke is wider at the bottom than the top. Okay. Enough of that. Put this away. I want to get over here. That'll do. Hope that's not out of focus for anybody. And finish off this detail. I think after this I'll be more or less done with the, well, not entirely, but I'll be pretty close to done. I'll be pretty close to done with the pages that I've drawn so far, which means I'm going to have to spend some time drawing new pages. Did you have you had a chance to order any from the JetPens website? Because though that site has microns too. They sell them in individuals or packs. That's where I got these brown ones from that I showed you. And if you have a chance, you should definitely order from them. The price is pretty competitive. Pretty standard from what you would pay anywhere else. Yeah, I was exhibiting at a convention. I want to say, East Coast Comic Con in New Jersey, and one of my booth neighbors was the first person that recommended to me the JetPens website. That was years ago, and I've been using it pretty consistently ever since. So, like to pay that knowledge forward, really, because it's a great resource and it's a great place to go looking for if you're interested in all kinds of art related ink pens, reusable, disposable, whatever you're into, really. Some jet pen on my phone. I'll still be here a while longer. Okay. Alter some of the color here. It's a little bit too cold. There we go. That works quite well. Even with the gouache. Sometimes mixing gouache and transparent watercolor is tricky, so it's always a welcome surprise to learn, to find out when it does work. Whew. Welcome back, Karma. How are the pens? Shadow this whole thing. for Bob's Burger, Hanover Spring Break. There's so many of them. Confused with the measurements, what pen is what. That's why it's usually a good idea to get like the sample pack of all the different ones, and from there you just go by, you know, the smaller the number, the thinner the point. Eight being the thickest point that is not a brush tip, down to 005, which I'll show you right now what a 005 line looks like. Here's my 005 in brown. So, see 005, right? This is how thin the line is. You can barely see that. On this camera, anyway. Are you familiar with Jelly Roll pens, by the way? Yeah, I got a lot of these too, Jelly Roll pens. I actually have tons and tons of the white ones because for a while I couldn't find them. So when I finally did find them, I stockpiled them. But these are surprisingly very opaque, and they float. They kind of float on top of a dark, so you can do a light color on top of a dark color very easily with these. So they're very good for if you want to do something like that. And I'm using them a lot on this project because I'm not just using the white ones, I'm using the other ones that I have, you know, my standard red, blue, green. I've got a ton of them. The Jelly Roll pens are for white highlights. They're one of the things that I tend to use a lot for white highlights, and I know I'm not the only one. They're one of the things that I use because they're very good for white highlights in thin lines, like so. It is very hard to get a line that thin, that white on a surface that dark and have it be that visible. That's why I like the Jelly Roll pens. Sometimes they can be a pain because, like all ballpoint pens, they tend to build up ink on the point, and it makes your drawing, it makes your line kind of globby or inconsistent. And you just need to be cleaning them pretty often. If you're okay with that, then they're great. If you're okay with a little, with some very mildly annoying maintenance, then the benefits outweigh the problems. Now, this is the other thing that I use for opaque highlights, and that's my paint markers. Now, I'm gonna make sure that this is gonna come out the way I need it to, because if not, it's not gonna look very, very good for me to keep trying it. Okay. There we go. Once I let that dry, and go into some a little bit more highlights. As a matter of fact, I'm going to help it along. Okay, just making sure I'm not muted again. Okay. Too thick of a line. Good. Chance it. There we go. The reason why I'm putting so much detail into this tiny thing is because I need for it to be very, very, very clear what this is. It's a pretty important plot point to the stretch away. Pretty important plot point to the story that I'm telling here. on that a little bit. And let's try that too. Excuse me. Okay. Almost ready for a little moment of truth here. Almost. just for the record, don't anybody out there, don't ever let anyone tell you that a detail is too small to draw. You get into as much detail as necessary. Somebody, somewhere, at some point, will notice. And if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to get into that kind of detail, that's okay too. But if you do, somebody will see it. So if that's your concern, you don't have to worry about it. All that's left now is to clean up some minor details. Then, there's some moment of truth action that has to happen. Is this one really just done? Because I think it is. Maybe the point of this pen is done. Touch this part. Yep, sure is. how long it's been since I've been to any kind of high school graduation. I have to keep Googling to remind me of what side the graduates wear the tassels on the hats, or mortarboard, if you will, until the end of the ceremony. And they actually wear them. They wear them on the right side. My right. This is my right. This is my writing drawing hand. They wear them on this side. So that would mean that they're all on this side here. And that would mean there's one coming over here. And since I didn't draw it and I don't feel like painting over that, that's going to have to go off panel. Which means I have to do some minor adjustment. Sorry, you guys couldn't see that. Okay. Okay. Anything left? No, I don't think so. Let's see if there's anything else that needs doing. This. It's gonna be tricky. Thanks for the follow, Line Online Style. Thank you for dropping by. Glad you're. Hope you're enjoying the stream so far. We got a little bit A little bit left to go for this particular comic page, but I encourage you to stick around. Stopped in. How's your stream going? Quite well, actually. So well, in fact, I don't stream very often on Wednesdays. I'm actually thinking about doing it more often when I can. It's not always the easiest day in the world for me to stream, so I don't always... something that I've kind of avoided doing up until this point, but this is the second Wednesday that I'm streaming in a row. It seems to be working out quite nicely. Yeah. I appreciate it. I'm doing the tiniest last bit of details to this page that I'm working on. Probably got a gold or a yellow gel pen somewhere that's not in my immediate vicinity right now. I'm gonna have to go looking for, but thank you. That's probably the last little detail that I'm gonna concern myself with off camera at a later time. For now, I guess time for a bit of moment of truth action here. Let's see. Let me zoom out a little bit first. Up a little bit, and we're gonna see how well this tape held and what else I may need to do with it. Keep an X-Acto in here for just such an emergency. Take this off. Let's take this off. I've got drafting tape masking off all my little areas here that are supposed to be panel gutters. Yeah, that held really well over here anyway. That held extremely well. Okay, good. I always get a little bit worried when I'm working in watercolor paint that the paint doesn't seep underneath the tape and into the onto the page. But when you're using watercolor paper, I think that's less of a concern. The paper absorbs on contact and it doesn't start bleeding one way or another. So that's cool. That worked the way it was supposed to. And then all I gotta do is all these little pencil lines in between, just get rid of them, just erase them. Okay, that's one. One down, two more to go. Might just get rid of this right here too. It's a little bit of bleed over. If you're really particular about that sort of thing like I am, you want to sharpen edge there as possible. You guys didn't even get to see that. This is why whenever possible I tape down what I'm working on and just leave it there and leave the camera on it, because otherwise I'm moving it all over the place and eventually it goes completely off the camera. So next thing, panel. Get underneath the tape. And this is not very sticky adhesive tape, but you still kind of need to be careful and lift it gently so that it doesn't take some of the paper with it. And in this case, not a problem. Awesome. I like it. I like it a lot. And the same thing. We'll erase all the pencil lines in between. All right. You can also do this with painter's tape, which I also have over here. You can use it with the. This is even less sticky and even easier to lift off. So I haven't used it yet, just because I'm worried about it, just coming off the page at a time that I don't want it to. But you can use it. I've seen far more experienced watercolor painters than I am using it professionally, using the painter's tape to mask off panel areas. Here, get that out of the way. Some of the remnants of this, I didn't quite get the bottom part of this panel gutter. And let's sharpen that edge of that panel gutter as well. Pretty solid. See? Let's put more light over here. I think that's pretty solid. Last one, and then we're gonna call it an evening. Lift. This one feels like it's in there a little bit tighter. Still gotta be very careful to mess up any of the painting. You have to end up painting it over again. Cut that up. Alright. Bad. Not quite as sharp as the other ones, but not bad. And I think the lack of sharpness will be less obvious once I erase the pencil lines, so let's see about that. That looks like that's a finished comic book page, I think. I'm sure there'll be a few things I'm going to notice that I'm going to want to do to it later. But for the most part, that is very, very close to finished. Let's zoom out and show the rest. This is still our calm before the storm in the scene that I'm setting up. Some people over here. Characters over here. Just making this look as populated as I can here. It's just shapes of miscellaneous characters, people in the background. It's about as much as I want to do for tonight. This was a good way to spend a rainy day, I think, such as it is here today. Whew. I want to thank everybody who dropped by, everybody who decided to pay me a visit tonight. Yeah, this Wednesday thing seems to be working out, so I may consider doing it more often. And I hope if I do, you guys drop by and hang out with me then too. Thanks everybody who did today. Thanks Karma, Beyond Good Karma for the host. Thanks new followers. I appreciate you all, and I hope you stick around, and I hope you come back often. Got all kinds of fun and interesting things going on most days that I'm streaming. Make that all days that I'm streaming, which is most days. I'll be back this Saturday for Sketchbook Saturday. I have a vague idea. I have a couple of options for what I want to do for this weekend. We'll see if I if I change my mind between then and now. It's been known to happen before. But anyway, in the meantime, if you're interested at all in when I'm going live, when I've been live, stuff that I've done in the past, stuff that I will be doing, and previous work that I've done, if you want to see any of that stuff, you can follow me. I'm Epic Benjamin J on all of the things, including on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. You can follow me on any and all of those things, and you'll have a pretty good idea of what my schedule is going to look like, and where you can find me and watch me next. So I will most likely see you guys on Saturday, probably sometime between the hours of 7 and 8 p.m. Eastern. That's not a guarantee, but that's usually when I go live, so you can look for me then. Till then, once again, thanks everybody who dropped by and everybody who's watching on the replay, and I hope you guys never ever stop making friends through art. We got some new followers today, and I hope I have made a friend of you through the art that I have showed you today, and through the art that I will be showing you in the future. So never ever stop making friends through art. It's something that I work towards every day, and you should too. I'll be back on Saturday, and until I see you then, everybody, please remember, very important, we talked about it earlier, stay safe, laugh hard, ride fast, be kind.